Goeiemorgen. Oh no, it's not goeiemorgen. Goeiemiddag. Dumelang, Dumashironi, Absheni. Oh guys, what am I even saying? How do you say hi in Zulu? Sure, me in Zulu, eh? Oh, I got it. Sanbonani. Don't laugh at my accent. Anyways, yeah, and then there's one more greeting. Of course, how can I forget being in China? Ni hao. Guys, Chinese in their tones. Ni hao. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. You have officially tuned in to Tasha Talks with your host Natasha, aka Dr. Bay, as some of you might know me on social media platforms. And I'm so happy guys to have you here today with me. You might be wondering why I'm wearing my lab coat, my white lab coat. Well guys, I thought it was fitted since today's video is about why I chose my medical career. And of course guys, before I start with my topic, I just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody who took the time to watch my previous videos. If you haven't checked them out, please go and check them out. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like and comment on my videos. I really appreciate you guys so much. So guys, today I am shooting my video in the comfort of my apartment. So don't mind what is behind me. It's just a fridge. It's just a fridge. Forgive me if the lighting and the sound is really bad. But I'm going to try to do my best with this video, and I think we can get right into it. A question that I always get is, did you know that you always wanted to study medicine, or did you know that you always wanted to become a doctor? And my reply to that is, hell no. Hell no. Guys, when I was in primary school, I was not even thinking of going to varsity or thinking about career choices that had anything to do with academics. In actual fact, when I was younger, I wanted to become anything like that would basically involve the media or the TV industry. I wanted to become an actress. I wanted to become a dancer. I wanted to become a singer. Oh, hey, Hadley, my love has come along, and my lonely days are over. I wasn't even thinking about anything that had to do with academics. The other side of me though was that as a child I was always an academically capable and brilliant person. I'm talking about your first in class type of vibe, and scooping all the big awards and all of that. I remember receiving so many awards when I was going throughout my primary school, and unfortunately I don't have those with me because obviously they are at home. Basically, I was a very smart child, just to put it that. I attended my primary school at a convent, a private convent known as St. Ursula's Convent. Shout out to St. Ursula's. So basically St. Ursula's Convent is it's a Catholic private school, and for any of you who know those type of schools, they're very strict on on academics, and they're very strict on just behavior and how you carry yourself as a person in general. So then from primary school to about grade 8, I attended at St. Ursula's Convent, right? And then when I got to grade 8, I remember there was a bit of difficulties at home. So then I had to switch and come to a local school. And I was kind of upset, I didn't understand why I had to switch. I've been in the same school my whole life, and you know how difficult it is to meet new people and make new friends and just basically leave people behind that you're already used to, seeing on a daily basis. So being in that school was also a bit of an experience for me. Shout out to Randfontein High. I love that school, actually. The best years of my life, oh me, oh my. Okay, when I got to that school, things were not that easy for me. I don't know, I feel like I received a lot of backlash where just kids being kids and just negativity, jealousy and whatnot. And at first I wasn't really happy about the way I got treated, but then fast forward, I made incredible friends, and I actually realized that there was a purpose, a purpose at why God wanted me to relocate. Because at the end of the day, when I was in my grade 11th year, I ended up getting picked to be part of the executive council of my school. Now, for some of you that don't know what an executive council is, I don't know, it might have different names, depending on the school, but in my school we called it RCL. So it was the representative council, leadership council, of the school body of students. And so you would have the normal RCL members, and then you would have the top 6 positions, and that's what we called the executive council. So I ended up actually filling the top 3 positions, and my duty there was head girl. And I was like, wow. When I think back to that story, I think about how intentional God was, how he relocated me because he knew that he had a purpose for me in that particular school, which was to be put in the executive council and serve as the head girl of that school for that year. So trust your process, even though it might seem as if this is not for you or this will never work out. Just trust your process. Trust that in the end, you will achieve, or you will see the fruits of, why you went through that thing in the first place. And that's going to be my message throughout this whole video. Grade 12, I was serving as the head girl at Randfontein High School, and everything was good. And you know that you have to be thinking about career choices actually from grade 11 in my country. I don't know how it is in other people's countries, but from grade 11 to 12, in that space of time, you have to be thinking about career choices. And I think actually when I was in my grade 10 year, this is when the medicine idea hit me. Because it was at that point, I think, that I started thinking about, okay, what do I actually want to do, I think all the, dreams and hopes and whatever of becoming a singer kind of escaped me in a way, and I knew that I was capable of, doing much more academically. So grade 10, I started thinking about this medicine thing, and I decided to start volunteering. So I would basically ask my parents to, drop me off at some homes where I would volunteer my time and spend time with workers like nurses, doctors, and whatever. It kind of like job shadowing. I think it's job shadowing. I would dedicate my time to serving, throughout the holidays at every chance that I would get. So I remember one particular home, Korekile Children's Home. Korekile Children's Home is a home for cerebral palsy children. So children with cognitive abilities. So they have impaired speech, they have impaired hearing. Some of them have physical disabilities like no limbs, arms, and just, as you can imagine, just a whole lot of different challenges. So that was a home that I really loved, and the people, they were really, really friendly. And that's where I did most of my community service when I was free, during the holidays. And when I started volunteering in grade 10, I got exposed to this new environment, and I started seeing life in a different way. That, oh my gosh, wow, there are people that actually live like this. There are children that were my age at the time that actually live like this. And it helped me to start appreciating life, and I actually grew fonder of the idea of serving and helping people. I think that's how I got drawn into this idea that, okay, I want to have a career in the health department. And when I was in grade 11 to 12, in that year, I then applied to go to university. And I applied to the University of Cape Town. I think that was my first choice. I applied for medicine as my first choice, and then proceeded to apply for a second choice, which was physiotherapy. So both of these career choices were in the health science department. So then I applied, I think, at the University of Pretoria. But then I later received news that medicine is full at the University of Pretoria, and they had advised me to apply for this program that I didn't understand at first, which was called the BSc. BSc stands for a Bachelor of Science, right? So basically you have different sciences, but because I wanted to study medicine, I had to choose a biological related science, not a physical science or mathematical science, but I had to choose a biological related science. Come my matric year, guys, I think the beginning of my matric year, I received a letter from the UCT saying that I was on the waiting list for medicine. I actually made it to the waiting list for medicine. I didn't get rejected, and everything was on par. The most stressful year that you'll ever have in your high school career. So I waited, and when my final results came, I actually did very well. I think I got a couple of distinctions, and I passed all my subjects, and I received a bachelor's. So basically just how you perform, in your matric year, and depending on what you got, will you be eligible to go to university. So I got a bachelor's, so yes, I was eligible to go to university, and the only thing that was left was me waiting for a reply from these universities that I applied to. I received letters, and the first one, University of Cape Town, an acceptance letter. So it was not an acceptance letter for medicine, and I was shattered because I didn't get into the first choice. The reason was that it was full. For all of you that know universities in South Africa, they are limited. I think there's only 4 or 5, and they have to cater for the whole 9 provinces. So people from all provinces will apply to these universities. So there's a lot of competition, and there's a lot of of that going on for you to actually get space. So the good news was that I did actually receive an acceptance, and I got accepted at the University of Cape Town for physiotherapy. So fine, I had a spot to get into the physiotherapy side of things. And then I received an acceptance letter from the University of Pretoria, which was for this BSc. And I don't know if I explained, but BSc was basically, how they explained it to me at first, was it was a gateway to get into medicine. So now I'm sitting in at the end of matric. Matric is grade 12. And now I have to weigh out my options. Do I go to UCT, or do I go to the University of Pretoria? And I weighed up the options, and I thought to myself, well, if I go to UCT, I'm going to follow this career that I don't really want, and it's a second choice. But if I go to University of Pretoria, I could obtain a BSc, and as they explained, it could be a gateway for me to get into the medical career that I wanted. So that is what I did. I chose the University of Pretoria, and I chose to pursue this BSc. So guys, I got to the University of Pretoria in my first year. It was a 4-year program. Wow. It was not anything that I expected it to be, especially in the first year, you know. Excited to get into university, excited for the opportunity and all that. And then you get into the program and they like, well, your subjects for the first year are going to be botany, zoology, what is it? Okay, we did psychology, we did philosophy. I was just on some, what? I think there's a mistake. How is this even gonna help me become a doctor? How? I don't get it. For you guys that don't know at home, zoology stands for the study of animals. Yes guys, in my first year of the BSc, I studied about sharks and snakes and I can't even remember what else, and I was like, God, I don't understand. I studied botany. Botany was the study of plants. And I was like, God, I don't see myself in the agricultural field. Like, okay, why am I studying plants? I don't understand what this is about. Anyway, guys, you can really imagine like how unhappy and how unsatisfying my first year was. But then I made it through the first year. Come second year, I was involved in a car accident, and it was a very, very devastating time in my life. And I can't even think about it, and I'm not going to get into the details of that, but basically that ended up in me flunking my second year. Yeah, it's been a real journey, guys. It's been a real journey. So my BSc degree was 4 years, and I think I completed in 5. But I made it. I ended up completing my BSc degree. Later in the degree, you get to choose what you want to major in. So, you know, you can major in microbiology, you can major in physiology, you can major in genetics. And I found genetics, which is what, you know, I found my interest in. So I ended up finishing my degree and majoring in genetics. So when I was in my last year of the BSc program, before I graduated, I was just constantly thinking about, okay, why I came to university in the first place. Because my initial thing was that, okay, BSc can get me into medicine. What is my next step? And the next step obviously was to apply to a medical school. So I was just thinking about applying to a medical school. But I had 2 options, okay? I had 2 options. It's either I was going to apply to a medical school at home, and mind you, my graduation I think was in September. So that would mean that if I was going to apply to a medical school at home, I would basically have to be waiting for a reply September, October, November, December, January, February, around March. So about 5 months of waiting and, you know, anxiety, which I was not sure I wanted to go through. So I started researching about, you know, going overseas. What are the options of me going overseas? And I feel like everything just fell into place, because immediately when I started researching, I immediately got connections. And you know that thing again where God knows the desires of your hearts, and He is intentional about what He wants to do in and through your life. So I researched about coming to China, and basically the way that my story happened was that, I graduated from my BSc program this week, and like the next week I was on a plane to come and study medicine in China. Here I am finding myself as a medical student in China, and I think now I am in my 7th semester, so I've got just a few semesters left. Basically, I am in my 4th year. So guys, you can see how time really flies. Okay, so I get a lot of comments, about the BSc. Was it worth it? Or do I feel like I wasted my time studying the BSc? And my reply to that is absolutely not. Guys, everything in life is intentional. Everything in life has a purpose. Why I say that is because I did my research, and to my surprise, what is that making noise? Okay. To my surprise, I was just going through a whole lot of websites. Not only South African websites, I was going through a whole lot of international websites. So websites from America, websites from Canada, websites from the United Kingdom. And if you look at the prerequisites for becoming a successful doctor in these countries, they will tell you that before you can even get into a medical school, you need to study a degree, preferably in the area of science. Yes, if you don't believe me, you can look it up yourself. So they want you to have studied or have had, sort of like a background in science before you can even get into medical school. And that is basically what a BSc is, a Bachelor of Science. It sort of acts as a pre-medical degree. Now, standards are different across the world, and it's only now that I understand that, why South Africa introduced this BSc program in the first place. Because you get a lot of old school people saying, what is this BSc thing? They're wasting children's time and whatnot. It's because the standards of medicine across the world are different, and things are becoming more stricter. Things are becoming a little bit more tight, especially if you want to become a doctor. You need a degree first before you can even consider getting your medical degree. So now that I think about it and look back, I was like, wow, God is intentional. He really knows what He is doing. So to answer your question, no, my BSc degree is not in vain. In actual fact, it was just preparing me for something even greater. I am equipped, and I am ready for what I'm about to face. Whether I choose to end up in Canada or whatever, I know that I'm secured and I'm good. Yes, trust your process. There's nothing in life that doesn't have a reason and a purpose. So guys, I have officially come to the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed listening to my story. I hope that you took something from it. I hope that you learned something from it. And continue to stay tuned, because one of these days I will be taking you out on a day with me at medical school. So if you want to get more content, subscribe to my channel. There's much more interesting things that I'm going to be posting up, and if you don't want to miss out on that and what I'm going to be up to, subscribe. I am officially signing out from Tasha Talks. I will see you next time. Goodbye.